And also, since we started working with the earth energies, this has been opening up quite a strong and very different type of kundalini. It's almost, I'm used to this very spiritual kundalini that goes through the brain, but there's these energies from the earth, and they're the same or feel similar to the different energies of holographic breathing. And when they go through, it is really as they go through the head, you do go into a space of no mind. It is just kind of gone. There is a strength to those earth energies, and there is a reconfiguration of the mind. Well, I can't even really call it a reconfiguration of the mind. It's more like an annihilation of the mind. It just goes. And I don't really think of the earth energies like that as this very bright light going off in my head, but that is what they are. There is this much more kind of pristine, angelic clearing of the brain from the energies coming down. There are these more pristine energies coming down from the heavens, which feel very clean, from a very higher source, and different teachers, masters, divine beings, higher energies. But the earth energy is different, and it has a more physical, magical, it's like magic, really. And I think there is more ability to heal the body from the earth energies, to transfigure the body, to rewire the body, to align the body, because it is of the earth. The body isn't so much of the spirit. When you're working with the spirit, everything is becoming more and more refined, more and more delicate. But as we've been opening these energies to the earth, they're stronger, they're more physical. And my feeling is they do strongly align the spine and working through the spine. At least that is what's happening for me. And despite everything going wrong, and despite everything breaking, and despite I'm not able to record this, the audio, the video part of it's broken, my normal audio thing's broken, well, 2 of them are broken. I've tried 2 different computers. Even with all of that, the essential dialogue is still working. I'm kind of here, the picture is here, the sound's here, the channel is coming through and working. I kind of think they're keeping me on the bare minimum to actually get through. And they do know, and they do know what's going on. I remember, because I used to make a lot of videos just with me, just talking to the camera. And I remember once, I had this thing that I wanted to talk about, and I was talking about, thinking, nothing's happening. Normally when I talk to this camera and record something, you know, all of this stuff happens and all of these things come through, and it wasn't really like that at all. I was just talking. And then afterwards, when I went up to turn the camera off, I realized that I hadn't actually turned it on. So it wasn't recording, and the spiritual energies just didn't bother coming through. I thought, what's the point? It's not recording it. So they just didn't show up. So there is an intelligence there. They do know what's going on. And there is this strong presence from the earth. And it isn't Diraj. Well, it may be something to do with Diraj, the guy who brought through the Tibetan pulsing, just because I think he used that a lot. He had a very, very strong kundalini like nothing I've ever come across ever before or since. But there was that quality of power around him, and there's that quality of power around the earth. And I think she is looking for willing compliance, for people who are happy to work with her at this time. Because it's not like there's nothing to give away. If you go down that route, you will change. You may not have the things you want. Your life may not go exactly the way you want it to go. I'm not sure if I'm using the right word. It doesn't sound very positive, but the word is that there's a large transfiguration coming through, and that's probably the wrong word, but everything is going to change. Everything. In ways we can't even imagine. And, you know, there's all the politics of it, there's the drug companies, there's these power games going on, there's this, there's that. But that matters little when the earth comes round to transfiguring everything, moving on to the next level. That all these things of who's got power and who's not got power, when it gets to that stage of change, that has little consequences, and karma that will be done. It will come through one way or another. What is meant to happen is going to happen, and there's little or nothing that mankind can do about that other than ride the wave. Some people are going to be very attached to their identities, their egos, their position, their finance. You know, there's a lot of power around how wealthy I am or somebody is. If someone's wealthy, suddenly they've got all of this prestige that somebody who isn't wealthy doesn't have in the same way. Everyone looks up to them. Now, I'm not sure if they're looking up to them or they were trying to work out ways of getting a bit of it out of them. It's like something like that, you know, a lot of acolytes and people around just because they want some of that money, they want some of that fame. But this matters little in the scheme of things. Now, I don't know why I'm just talking about this, because I wasn't expecting to, but it seems important today to talk about this, and whether you understand it or not doesn't matter. Just speaking it is allowing those energies to arrive and allowing the earth to speak. And we need to listen. We just haven't listened, or not enough people have listened. So we need to listen to the energies of the earth. We need to listen to the energies of the guides, the higher beings, because they do have an overview of what we can't even imagine, of what's going on. I don't think they want to hurt us or something like that, but I think they can see that we're coming up for change. And the way I'm hearing it, I don't know what that is in time. What may seem like a short time, but then maybe hundreds of years for us, or it may not be. It may be 2 or 3 years. It's not like a time thing on that, but there is a big change, and it's good to take that, and it's worth riding the wave, using that as a way of healing yourself. Use it rather than fighting that energy. Ride with that energy. Let go of whatever you have to let go of, and let that unfold. And this is the transfiguration of the brain. I was having this session once, and this cat jumped up on the lady's lap, and she moved the cat to another chair. So this is a transmogrification. And she moved the cat across to the chair. But we're going through that. I'm not sure if the word's right. We're going through a transmogrification of our brains. It is the rewiring of our heads in line. You know, we've done a lot from the higher energies, and now there's something from the earth. It's kind of, as I'm talking about it, it's coming clearer. There's a transfiguration of the brain from the earth. And we have all of these matrices, we have all of these dialogues, we have all of this karma, fears, habits, ways of being, how we see ourselves, what we identify ourselves with. Learn this lifetime, but reflecting past lifetimes and reflecting society, and they are like pathways that the energies travel through the brain. But if you just let the earth energies go through, they don't follow those pathways. They are aligning with the earth matrix in your brain, and they're traveling through the earth matrix in your brain. And the more you align with that, the more you let yourself do that, the more all of these things that you've fought to resolve disappear. Because all of the problems, illnesses, reactions we have are from inside. We create all of the things that we try and fix. And the problems aren't the problem, we are the problem, because we're manifesting all of that. So it's kind of like giving the reins over, and there's a terrification, terrifying everything to somethingfication, the terrification of that. Just that we don't want to let go of the reins. We will die. We will go mad. We will lose the plot. We won't be able to be in control anymore. We may think that we're not controlling, and we may not be overtly, well, some people are overtly controlling of people around them, but unknowingly we are completely controlling of ourselves. We can't let go of one little thing. To let the earth energies move through the brain, we have to let go of that control, and then the brain can heal. But it won't be the identity you think of yourself. You'll be moving into consciousness. You won't be part of the ego or mind or identity or whatever you want to call it. You become more a viewer. And the earth matrices, earth energies reflect through the brain, and the higher energies reflect through the brain. And then there's a chance for creativity, because you are no longer in your box. You're no longer held by all of those parameters. Until that point, you are just following the commands, the patterns that are laid down. So today, I think that is what we're working with. To allow the earth energies, we are working with the lungs. It actually seems we're more working with the brain today, probably as it is reflected in the lungs. And we will be working with all of the different energies of the lungs, as I mentioned, but we're just going to connect it to the brain more strongly.